Hello.
How are you today?
Good. How about you?
Doing well.
Feels like it's been a whole day.
I know, almost exactly.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't have Zoom meetings all day today.
No, just yesterday. Today's been pretty light with no Zoom meetings so far today.
Oh, good.
So.
Good. Yeah.
How much time did you guys want me to take up? Mark.
Hey, Sam.
Whatever you feel comfortable with. We've got a couple things to talk about, but what did you have in mind?
I was just gonna do a pretty quick run through without really getting into how to configure anything. I figured that could be a follow-up with you guys. And just kind of show off that combined view, the items we have indexed from our digital collections, how you were able to batch upload the records for us for the cemetery data, and then show those folders where we've uploaded the PDFs of them, or those clippings files.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys really wanted me to go through?
That sounds like the right stuff to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just using all of Aspen, so.
Hello, Carrie.
Hello.
Hey.
Figured we'd jump right into being an Aspen family.
Yay, awesome.
I was going to tell you, Carrie, the other day that I know we're both from North Carolina, and my middle name is also May.
Oh, really?
As Southern as it gets.
My daughter's middle name is May.
Oh, really? Nice.
Lucy May.
Oh.
Well, just for the record, my last name is May. So.
Oh.
So everybody calls me by my full name, and particularly when I lived in the South, that just used to frustrate me all the time because I'm like, Carrie May, are you in trouble? I'm like, no.
That's funny.
Hello, Scott.
Hello, how are you guys?
Hi, how are you? Good.
Good.
Hey, James. Turn my office light on. I'm still not used to the fact that it's getting dark at like 4:30.
Oh, I'm thinking like 4 is bad, so like I couldn't deal with 3:30.
Harry, I like how you have books in your background. That's impressive.
It's my home library.
Awesome. Makes you look legit.
Thanks.
Nice.
Yep.
Not that you needed to look legit, because you are legit.
I was gonna say, the teaser for this meeting was I really don't know what a placard is, so I had to come and find out.
All right. This phase of the meeting, it's like standing in the elevator with a bunch of people. Yeah. It's like, do we talk? Do we not talk?
Talk, do it.
My son has been walking around the house for about 2 weeks now, humming the Girl from Ipanema. And we don't know like where he possibly picked this up. The closest we can figure out is he watched a movie where people were riding an elevator and he heard it there.
That's a good one. My son just recently picked up DuckTales, and he's about 2.5. So he walks around the house going, DuckTales, woo! It's like such an earworm with his little voice.
Right on. Hello,
We
everyone.
give everyone another minute to join us.
That'll give me a minute to figure out who's bringing the placards today.
Not me.
Oops. All the Bywater folks are typing ferociously on the Google Doc. It makes me think about like being in school again. Fight each other for the honor. All right, everyone. Well, we can slowly get started. For anyone that I do not know, my name is Addie Van Salisbury. I'm on the Aspen Discovery team with Bywater Solutions. I lead our implementations. So if y'all have recently gone through an implementation, I'm sure you're sick of hearing me on Zoom calls. And if you haven't yet, you will be. We can go ahead and get started with some introductions. We can start on the Bywater side. So I will just pass it to Mark.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Noble. I'm Aspen team lead, and I think I know most of you, but we've got some new faces, so welcome everyone. I'll pass to Cal, who's on my right.
Hi everyone, I'm Cal. I work at Bywater. I'm in partner engagement, and I've also been helping put together Aspen Weekly, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on today.
Should we go to?
Oh, I was supposed to pass. There's Jay-Z is down there.
Hey, my name is Jessie, and I'm the Director of Library Sales and Outreach at Bywater Solutions. So you'll sometimes see me before when you're getting interested in Aspen, or maybe during for training. I will pass it to Emily.
I'm Emily Fowler. I am the Aspen educator. So you'll see me when I'm doing staff trainings with your staff or in videos. Addie and I both kind of do videos. And I've also been working on the help manual lately, doing some stuff through GitHub. And I will pass it to, let's see, Nate.
Hey everybody, I'm Nate Carula. I'm one of the owners of Bywater. And who's left? Is that everybody?
I think that's everyone from Aspen team. Do y'all want to introduce yourselves? Does anyone want to go first? Should I name call someone?
I'll go first. My name is Christopher Davis. I'm the Systems and E-Services Librarian at the Uinta County Library in northeastern Utah. It is cold, but still a nice place to live. It's a great boss. Of course, he's here on the line, so he paid me to say that. No, I'm just joking. Anyway, we've been on Koha since 2014 and Aspen Discovery just pretty much last year and this year. We were one of the first libraries, and it's been a great move, a great step forward. Go ahead, Sam.
I work with Christopher. Yeah, we're in rural Utah. Excited to share some things today. Thanks.
I guess maybe we'll stick with Utah people. I'm Scott Aylett. I'm the library director at Spanish Fork City, which is in central Utah. And we currently don't have Aspen Discovery. We do have Koha through Bywater, but we are looking into getting Aspen. So I've talked a little bit with Sam in the past, and he has said some great things. So I'm just on the call to learn a little bit more and help inform us as we make this decision.
If we're doing Utah, I have to pop in. And I'm Meg Flynn down from the Grand County Public Library in Moab, Utah. And Sam told me about this yesterday, and I thought I would just pop in and see what it's all about. We are Koha users with work with Bywater, but not Aspen. So I'm excited to see what's up.
I don't know where we are state-wise, but I can jump in. I'm Eric Malinsky, and I'm Digital Services Supervisor with Jackson County Library in Medford, Oregon. And we are just at the very beginning of migrating from Polaris to Koha with Bywater. So I'm a newbie just here to see what's going on.
Well, since I just popped my picture on, I am here in Florida. My boss had put this on the calendar and then she went out on an appointment. So I'm just sitting in. We are hoping to switch to Koha and get Aspen next year. So I'm just kind of letting this wash over me and hoping for the best.
Sounds great.
I'm Daniel Gaghan. I'm the Systems and Database Librarian at Pueblo City County Library District in Colorado. We went to Koha in, I think, 2018. And then, what was it, early or mid 2019, we went to Aspen. We call it Discovery. So you may hear me say that every once in a while. And overall, we've loved both Koha and Discovery. So happy times.
Should we stay on the Colorado train? Got some CLIC people.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I work for CLIC, which is Colorado Library Consortium, and specifically for Aspen Cat, which is our union catalog of over 120 libraries in Colorado. And what did we do? We moved to Community Koha with Bywater, I think in 2018, and Aspen about a year ago now. I think that sounds about right. And that we had been on PICA previously for years. So yeah.
Joe Hunter, also from CLIC, and we love both Koha and Aspen DL, as I call it, to differentiate between Aspen Cat.
Go to the East Coast. This is Jonathan Newton in Arlington, Virginia. We might be the easternmost outpost for Aspen. We've been on Aspen for coming up on a year now, and we were on PICA for several years before that. And we are coming up on close to 6 months with Koha on the back end.
Jeff Gaines. I'm also Arlington County, Virginia. I'm the sysadmin, and yeah, like Jonathan said, we were previously on Sierra, but we migrated back in June to Koha, and so far things are going really well.
I'm Rebecca Case, Cataloging Metadata Manager at Arlington Library. We are on a journey, I feel like, and it's been a lot of fun. So we're just here for the journey.
I'm the other Rebecca from Arlington Public. I'm Rebecca Court. I do IT and data. And I guess we have a stronghold here today, so yay, APL.
Hello, I'm Keisha Poole. I'm the cataloging and metadata librarian, one of the cataloging and metadata librarians for APL. I'm enjoying Aspen. I really like the innovation that is going on. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of interesting things to do with metadata.
I'm Carrie May. I'm at Jackson County Library in Colorado, or not in Colorado. I used to be in Colorado, so I get tripped up. But Jackson County Library in Southern Oregon. We just had our kickoff call last week and decided to jump right in. If you all need to know who a good cheerleader for Koha is, just point to Sam Passy there. I knew him from working in Utah, and he was like, oh my gosh, you should do it, you should do it. So here we are, and just starting down this journey. And I'm gonna pass it to Eric since he's on my team as well. I don't know if I missed introductions before, but.
Yeah, I did. I just forgot to pass it to you.
Well, I had stepped away, so it's all right.
Okay.
See some Swan folks.
Yeah, I can jump in. I am Tara in Chicago. I work for the Swan Library Consortium, and we've got our Aspen test instance set up, and we're excited to get it out in the real world. I'll pass it to Robin.
Hey, I'm Robin Hofstetter. I'm electronic resources consultant here in Chicago for Swan Library Services. So yeah, we're really excited.
I think we just have Nashville and Santa Fe.
Hey everybody, I'm James, Systems Librarian at Nashville Public Library. And I just wanted to say how many times I've thought about Tara's suggestion over the past few weeks that we look towards a day where we can provide an integrated e-reader experience along with the catalog. So I think of it in terms of the 3Ds. We want to discover, we want to deliver, and we want to display. And if we have those, then we have the trifecta.
Leading us to war, James.
I'm Brian. I am James' colleague and pharmacist at Nashville Public Library.
And just, we've got CKLS and Kristen at Santa Fe.
Hello, I'm Kristen Martinez. I am a librarian at Santa Fe Public Library in New Mexico, and we are going live with Aspen very soon. We're transitioning from Pica, and I can't wait.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Adamic from the Central Kansas Library System. We have a consortium here, and we have a lot of different libraries that are using Aspen, and they're all very excited about it.
Awesome, y'all. Well, I think that's everyone. So happy to see y'all here. Love to see some returning faces and some new faces. So we can get started with our agenda for today. So we're going to get started with a guest speaker. We've got Sam Passy, who y'all all love, to talk about their genealogy and archives.
Okay, let's give this a shot here. This is going to be pretty unscripted. That's kind of how I roll in life. We of course are in our second year here with Aspen Discovery, and in addition to a library, we also run a local history museum, a heritage museum, and there's a community archives. And one of the things that's been important to us is increasing discoverability for those sets. And we had a big impetus to get this done. It'd been on the to-do list, but when we all of a sudden in March had to shut down the museum and shut down our archives, as you can imagine, the archives is very hands-on. You know, researchers that are in there all day long touching things, and that just wasn't an option in the early days of the pandemic for us. And so the first thing I want to show is what we call our folders, and they're basically clippings files. We had, oh, let me run the search because I can't talk and type at the same time. So we have like 20 years worth of clipping files that volunteers and staff members have kept. And they made MARC records for these clippings files. They have anything from newspaper clippings to anything that kind of showed up in local media, random, well, all sorts of randomness. They're real treasures for historians. But we had these, and the only way to access them had been on site. Our staff and volunteers scanned them, actually unbeknownst to me, really. A couple of years ago, they had one that went missing, and so they engaged volunteers to scan them. They made all these PDFs, and they were just sitting there on external hard drives. And I got talking to Mark about this, and he's like, well, if you've got records for them, you could upload them to Aspen. And they built the tool for us to be able to do that. So now you can search the Mark record, which had all kinds of subject terms for these files. And then these are just like quick scans that they made of things. There's some census records in there. There's genealogy stuff. It's really a hodgepodge. We kind of dodged the copyright question. If we get takedown requests, we'll respond to them. But it's kind of a niche thing on some very narrow topics. But we aim to have as comprehensive as we can local history collections, and this has been a great way to make them discoverable. I'm just quickly going to show you where you can do that at. Just randomly put one in here. We call these things, the title on them is folder. Don't ask me why, but that's on the to-do list, is to change the titles to something more descriptive than a folder number. But if you're logged in and you have the right permissions, you can come to staff view and hit upload PDF version. Now we've seen some other libraries use this for different editions of, say, law books, where maybe they have one Mark record that describes a number of books or government documents like that. That's our folder thing. And feel free, if anyone has questions, to interject. Otherwise, I'm going to monologue. My favorite view in Koha right now, or in Aspen, for searching is the combined result view. And I really like how we can show things that we have in our photo collections. These live at the University of Utah. And for years, unless you were like in the know and you knew which 8 clicks on 3 different websites to get to them, you didn't know they were there. But now they're here at the touch of a button. Locals are finding them. Of course, we have our events integrated and obituaries. Doris Burton is the founder of our Regional History Center. And she was an author, among other things. And this really gives someone a nice one-stop shop for everything we have related to her. You can get in there and see her obituary and whatnot. On our browse categories, we can also, one of the, Mark, was this our enhancement or did we just come about? But we wanted to be able to show things like photographs in the browse categories. We weren't sure if people would think to search for them, and so we wanted to tease them a little bit with the browse categories. When we had a rodeo coming up in town, and so weird thing about our community is they didn't take the pandemic seriously for a long time, and so rodeo season came about, and we held one of the country's biggest rodeos this year. So there was that, but it was coming to town, and so we wanted to highlight our rodeo collections. And if you click on it, it takes you into the item that's held at the University of Utah for us. Let's see. We made some browse categories for things like some of the oral histories that we had, river running, just some of the important topics in our area. This is a lot of those kind of folder things that I was talking about. And again, I can view the clippings file that I've got on those. These ones are more recent. But if you're interested in local theater history, it's just an amazing resource to have on hand. Then another thing, kind of stepping from the archives into the genealogy side, Koha, or I keep saying Koha, since 2014, that's been the word we use. Aspen Discovery, and maybe I do it because they work so seamlessly together, but Aspen Discovery allows you to manage a lot of genealogy records. You can simply if you do a search for nothing, it shows you everything. We have, again, kept genealogy records for local people for a long time in a variety of different systems. This is a good example one here, Alberta Moss Ross Searle. And if you are logged in, you can edit it. If I have more information, and I'm just quickly going through this, and any of the Bywater staff here can help you figure out how to set this up, or I can follow up offline. Offline, is that a thing? Along the side. You can upload pictures, you can put comments. If there's like a staff note, something that you don't want the public to see, maybe it's for a prehistoric type burial and you have to keep the location private, but you need that for staff, you can put that kind of information in there. This part of the system just lives in Aspen. It doesn't talk to your underlying ILS. I think that's an important distinction. But we did have one thing to know. So if I want to add a record, so I'm going to search genealogy record for Christopher Davis. I didn't find one for him. And our practice is to have volunteers and staff members go through the local newspapers, the local websites for the obituaries, and just grab those as they come in. And so if I saw something there, I could start entering that information in. Not going to do that in this case. And
no, you should put in an obituary for him.
So, well,
I'm just joking.
Why not?
And you can say the news of your death is greatly overrated.
You know, it's just a fill in the blank, plug and chug. If you have a whole batch of these, we had several thousands of these records that it was a bit much to ask someone to sit down and manually enter all those. We opened a ticket with Bywater. Addie was able to massage that data, which was not the cleanest to begin with, into a format that could go into Aspen. And now they're in there. And instead of re-entering all that data, we still have to go in and do a little bit of manual cleanup. See these first couple of pages, these are the ones we manually entered, nice pictures and things. Oh, we have someone named Testing Delete Me. That's kind of a fun name. But he's a veteran of migrating from Cersei, so that's kind of fun there. But it's been pretty forgiving. It's been a fantastic system for us and way to share things. I think that's it. The combined view a lot of times is turned off by default. If you're doing local history type stuff or any sort of specialized collection, I'd encourage you to turn that view on. It just simply, and again, that's just here, and you can go into your library administration settings and change that. And then kind of going off script just a little bit. We're excited about the web builder functionality that's in Aspen, and you know, we've got that set up in our demo site, and we're just starting to port things back over into our main production site. But you can do some management of your e-resources and things, and some of this isn't quite ready for prime time, but you know, sort of look to it. But we're building these research tools right into the discovery layer. We're indexing the genealogy stuff. And if you got questions, any questions? If people are sending chats, I really am not seeing those. So if there's anything relevant to me, please read those off. Okay. That's what I had. Anything anyone want to see? Anything else? I want to do a shout out to Pueblo. They've done a lot of really cool integrations as well. In fact, when we were figuring out what we might do, we were looking at their site a little bit and seeing how they're working with things in Content DM and a bunch of other places. So next step for us is looking more at what we want to do long-term on the back end of the digital archive system. Right now, we're just piggybacking off of our partners across the state, which in some sense is fantastic that we don't have to worry about like long-term migration and data archiving. However, we tend to really not have any vote or voice with that particular group when it comes time to prioritizing strategic directions and things. That's what I've got. Thanks, everyone.
When you're uploading files,
Thank you.
Is there a limit to the size or to the total amount you can upload?
Mark, you want to take that one, or Addie?
No. So, I mean, there's a practical, so it will tell you how large of a file you can upload for your server. I think the default is like 100 meg file, which is way bigger than you'd actually want to upload to a website. And then storage size, like we don't want people uploading videos, but you can't do that for that. So if you're uploading hundreds of gigabytes of stuff, we'll talk, but for most practical purposes, it's not a big deal. So, and any file can have as many, or any particular record can have as many PDFs as you want on it. Again, there's kind of a practical limit of you don't want somebody searching through 1,000 different PDFs for which to see. So. Does that answer your question, Michael?
Yes. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks, Sam. That's yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to show you guys just one example, but I lost it. There's a book where it's just a huge file, and so we ended up segmenting it into chapters, so people just kind of choose the chapter that they want to download. And maybe it's worth showing because it's actually got a placard on that screen.
That's a beautiful transition, Sam.
Except I'm having technical difficulties now, so use your imagination. It appeared on the screen and looked awesome.
That's one of the Doris Burton books, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love that part of Aspen. I feel like it's a underutilized section. It's really neat.
Oh, there it is. You can view it, choose your bit, and then it's got the placard. This is a placard, Carrie. And I will stop sharing and yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So that feels like a great way to go into our placard show and tell, unless anyone has questions for Sam.
Great job, Sam. Kudos to you.
Thanks, guys. Play around with it. You can see all this at our site, catalog.unilibrary.org. And if you want to see our development stuff, it's at www.unilibrary.org. And Christopher will put those in the chat for us because he's astute like that. Thank you.
Sweet, y'all. So let's head into our placard show and tell. Who has some, so we will want to do any of y'all that have placards you're really proud of, or if you just want to talk about placards in general. So for those of y'all that are joining us for the first time, placards are a really great way for Aspen to display any information about pretty much anything, resources, events, anything you want your patrons to be able to find in a search. And they're triggerable by words. So if a patron's doing a search for local history, it could a placard can pop up to bring them into your archives and collections or something like that. Does anyone want to start?
Yeah, I can start. I have some. I'll paste into the chat, see if that works. Okay, yeah, so I pasted hyperlinks to the searches. We did some reading lists, like read-alike lists, and then we created placards to showcase those for different titles. So for really popular current reads like All the Devils Are Here, American Dirt, Anxious People, Guest List, Rage, Transcendent Kingdom, we created placards that had the titles and a few other keywords and author names, things like that. And so if whoever's driving could click on one of those to show the screen, that work? And then if anyone has any questions about how we did it. So yeah, we kind of did a two-box approach. So that the box on the left is just an image, and the box on the right is text with background color. And so in the placard creation screen, I pasted in some extra HTML to give some extra structure and give me some more places to add some styling. And then in our theme CSS, I did kind of a generic template CSS for this approach. And then for each individual placard, we changed the colors of the background color and the text color and the more link box. So in each individual placard, I did custom CSS for the particular ones. That one looks the same. I think the other ones are using different color combinations. Yeah, there you go. So you can kind of see the different, same basic template, but we had our design person do an image for the left with color keys, and then I recreated those kind of color combos in the text box to the right. And then on mobile, the right panel sits underneath the image on the left. And so I did some more custom CSS to get that to work the way we wanted it to. So yeah, if anyone has questions about what the extra customizations that we did to make that work, and just let me know. I can paste that in the Slack channel as well for reference for people to see that. If anyone has questions about how we did that, let me know.
That looks amazing. I didn't even realize that would be possible.
Yeah, those look
very
great.
cool.
A lot of it is just as our designer did the image on the left, that's most of the work. And then, the right panel that's where the text and the links are is just, color based on the keys from the left image. But yeah, the combination does look really striking when they're put together like that.
Would that be tied to the while you wait?
It's similar. We did we had some of our librarians put together reading lists, like curated lists based on the concept of while you wait. But I don't think that they're, I'm gonna have to look at the actual individual list, but I think they were like curated lists that we linked to in the more link. But it's similar to the while you wait idea. It's just not dynamically generated.
Those are really slick. Well done.
But yeah, just to give you guys an idea of just about anything is possible, because you can put in your own HTML markup in the editing box, and you can add whatever style and CSS you want. So you can get all kinds of possibilities. That's just the first one that we came up with. And then I did generic styling for that template in our theme, so I could reuse that same styling for each placard. And all I had to do for the individual placards was just change the coloring for the text in the background. So it's pretty streamlined once we got the first one done.
Those are gorgeous.
That would, your process there would make for a fabulous tutorial video or something of how you can get the most out of those. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I can see about documenting or doing, you know, something along those lines to make it easier for people to follow along.
Now I'm super embarrassed about all the example placards I've made.
And I have to say I'm jealous. We have placards, but not like that. Good job.
Do we have
Hey,
any?
oh sorry, Jonathan, do you mind if I send you a message in Slack and then I can chat with you more about the HTML and the CSS that you put in there?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just throwing this out there as an idea for future placard enhancements. We've certainly thought about having how it would be nice in our placards to have like a button for our e-resources, to have like a, you know, a button that goes out to the resource itself, and then a button that goes out to the tutorial, which is not hard to do with HTML, but it is hard to do if you're from, I would say 90% of our libraries that would not be super comfortable with that. So if there was like some magical button fields, that might be something that might help folks create those kind of those buttons and some different functionality in the placards.
We had another library suggest for like some of their EBSCO resources wanting to embed a search box in as well to say,
oh,
bring up
fancy.
EBSCO and directly search EBSCO from within Aspen, starting at that placard. So, yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what other mockups people have or real code.
Do we have any other placards y'all want to share with us?
Let me pull up one here. Let me share my screen because I wanted to show. Let's see here.
We're like all embarrassed to share our placards now after that.
I know.
No joke.
It's like, I made this at school. Here, Mom.
They should have gone last.
See, can you see that where it says Uinta County Library up here in the corner?
Yep.
Okay, great. So let me put in languages up here in the search. Okay. And let's say I want to find books. I'm a patron and I'm wanting to find books on, oh, I want to learn German or I want to learn Russian. Well, I go like this and scan. Now, 5 love languages, not exactly what I was looking for, but hey, look at this. Mango Languages, which is, as you may or may not know, is an online resource. And it's definitely not as good looking as was shown just a moment ago, but the functionality's there though. I mean, so it could connect people to this language learning, even though it's an online resource. And when you click on this, it goes, you know, to Mango Languages. So anyway, just to kind of give you a feel of what the placards do.
Yeah, what
No, don't sell yourself short. I think the other thing that's good about this kind of sharing of ideas, in my mind, I remember when Mark and Addie were first talking about the placards, and it was like, started thinking about all the kinds of things that we could use it for. And that's another thing, is not only what it looks like, but what kinds of, where you're making the placards pop up is a good thing to think about.
I have a couple I could share. I mean, they're not as nice as the other ones, but they've been somewhat useful for our libraries, I think. So I can share real quick. So here's one of our libraries. They have a bunch of hotspots that they're loading out to their patrons. So if you type in like Wi-Fi or hotspots, we have this placard come up, and then you click on it, it just takes you to the record and you can place a hold. So, sorry, I'm remote learning. So, and then for one of our other libraries, well, sorry about that. For one of my other libraries, if they look up ebooks, we have Cloud Library integrated in with our discovery layer. So we have this placard here that says click here to learn how to access Cloud Library content. They click on that, that just takes us to our public Dropbox, and we've got like a how-to infographic there. So that's what we're doing.
At the start
Barbara.
of the pandemic, we saw like one of our most popular searches in the catalog was ebooks. So just the word. So that would solve a lot of problems.
One of the things we notice for a lot of our libraries is that, you know, libraries are becoming more of a information center for all kinds of community resources. And so we did, here, I'm going to post it in the chat there. We did a few placards. So for one of them, if you search for help, it just comes up with a placard that shows the number and information to contact the suicide hotline. And so we thought, I mean, you never know if someone's looking for information about that, but just in the off chance that they are, we wanted that to be available for someone. We have several different resources like that we wanted to make available to the public.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's one of the cool things about it, is that you could turn a community service into something findable in catalog.
Yeah.
I think there's a MARC record for that, if I remember back from my cataloging, but most people don't use it. It's like community MARC or something like that, but most people don't do that.
I have two questions about placard management. And so, you know, so in Nashville, we're thinking about the possibilities, you know, for connecting patrons to book clubs, connecting patrons to events, things that'll come in time out that would best be, you know, generated by, you know, in a distributed way among all of our staff. But like, how are y'all coordinating? Who's in charge of placards at your institution? Do you have a centralized place? Is anybody trying something with more permissions for more staff? I see Jonathan is yellow.
Yeah, so I think in our case, like I do the actual putting the placard up in Aspen, but we have other people that do like the promotions and kind of web content creator people who fed me all the details. I told them that we can do whatever you want, just tell me what you want and we'll make it happen. And then, so we got some people to create the list and another person to do the graphic design work, and then they fed me all that information. I put it together in the placard. So really a group effort. So I'm not sure who's really in charge of it, but that's how we did it.
With events in particular, using the Aspen Discovery events management functionality, right now it's connected to Library Market, and now they're working on a couple others. But you can set up different facets and basically whatever you can pull out of your other system, you can achieve a lot of that functionality on the fly without having to pre-coordinate those types of searches and placards.
Are there any sort of So I know we've talked about adding, actually, before I get to that, one trick that Salina Public Library figured out is if you put a % symbol for the search term, it will show that placard for every search other than a blank search. So for anybody that always wants a placard to show that's an option, you can also use the new system messages to, and then this last release, we added the ability to define start and stop dates for placards. So if you know that you've got a resource that's coming like January 1st, you don't have to wait until January 1st to put it up at midnight or anything. So, or if you know it's going away, you can close it. And then I know we've talked about statistics for placards, and that's one of the next things we'll be working on. Are there statistics that will be useful for people, or other statistics that would be useful to help you figure out what placards to make?
I will say being able to pull stats on placards that have that had a start and stop date and expired would be super helpful, because I am a little worried about 100 libraries loose on the placards and what that will mean over the long term as they pile up. So yeah, being able to do like a yearly cleanup or something based on that would be really helpful.
Just to see everything that has expired in the past, and then like download the stats so that you could archive them before you delete, or just know what ones you need to go delete because they're expired.
Yeah, just maybe know.
Okay.
Honestly, being able to just like automatically delete anything over like 6 months would be really cool.
So we almost need like a placard type setting button, something. This is an event placard. This is a resource placard. And resource placard isn't going to expire. Or this is, I mean, you could have whatever values you wanted, I suppose. And for the new people in the room, this is how this kind of works. We all just kind of start talking and sharing and making awesomeness happen.
I have a question about that awesomeness. I was thinking, so we're just doing some pilot libraries right now, and so I'm sort of adding placards for them for group sets of databases that we purchased from EBSCO. And so, one of the things I was thinking about is the trigger words, because, you can only really have one placard show up per trigger word. And I'm trying to, like we have 2 novelist databases. So how do I get one novelist to show up over a different novelist? And, we've got master file complete, which is a great research database, but we also have academic search complete, which is the exact same thing. So I just was kind of thinking about that as I was adding those in.
Yeah, which I'd love to talk about with people more, like what do we do? So a couple of people have expressed like, what do we do when we have more than one placard for a trigger? Like with EBSCO EDS, if they have multiple research starters, you show each of them. We could make like a little carousel that rotates through it. You could choose to make those dismissible. If they're dismissible, then for the given user, when they see the first one and dismiss it, they can go to the next one, that kind of thing. But kind of open to what people want to do with that.
I'm starting to have nightmares of Clippy.
Yes.
We can make them dance. No, we can't make them dance.
You could have it random.
Yeah.
And then they would eventually, if they're a researcher, probably see both of them. Probably doing the same kinds of searches over and over.
But wouldn't a lot of that stuff show up in the Explore More if you'd, like if you listed it as a website you've indexed or something?
Yeah, you can always create multiple. So you could create a resource for it, you could create a web page for it, and those would show up in different places as well. So it wouldn't rely on the placard to be the only point of discovery.
Not a solution to the problem, but it would be nice to get, we can do this directly through SQL, but get a list of conflicting trigger words, or just a broad scope of trigger words across all of them.
Well, we only have 10 minutes left, so I'm going to roll on to another topic unless someone has some very pertinent things they want to talk about.
The other thing that would really help me with placard management would be a repository for library customers to submit their placards. Some place where we can just go and post them and grab them with the click of a button.
Show of hands, who else interested? Several.
Placards and the trigger words that you use with them.
And probably collection spotlights, browse categories.
Yeah.
Manual groupings would also be good because, we're all working out of a couple of collections of copy catalog record.
Okay. Awesome. So the next topic's pretty similar. No, never mind. I skipped one. Linked accounts. What do y'all think about linked accounts? How are you promoting it? What do you think we should be able to do with these? Do you love linked accounts? Do you hate linked accounts?
As a parent of multiple kids, I love linked accounts to keep on top of all the kids' accounts. The thing that I can't do as a parent of multiple kids that I wish that I could do is with the tangible materials, select which account I'm placing a hold on.
I'll try to get that fixed soon. The other thing we've talked about is, I'm just not sure. Should people be able to change contact information for linked accounts? So like addresses, phone numbers, that kind of things. And we've talked about it with a couple of different people, and I think have come to both conclusions that yes, you absolutely should be able to, and no, you absolutely shouldn't. So
maybe the answer is configurable.
Yeah.
Which I know adds more complexity. I think just knowing our libraries are a weird bunch, and just the idea of linked accounts alone freaks some of them out, which I'm positive they're going to come around to it when they see how magical it is. But yeah, I think the addresses might push them further than they're ever going to go.
If you get the patron's age for the linked account of the API, can you just allow it for kids and not for other adults?
I was going to second that emotion because I was like, the kids' data, no one makes you verify it anyway. So what's the point of putting limits on it? Right. Like, I tell you this is my kid, I give you the address, you add them and you put them in. I don't have to have an ID for that. But adults, you have to have all of that. So if it's a kid card, you should be able to do whatever the ham sandwich you want with it.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Same line, I think for adults, there probably should be a notification if someone changes your address. I mean, the same thing if you link an adult account, like there's no notification now that someone linked your account, right? And I guess you have their library and their PIN, but it's still like maybe a ping, that said, hey, someone did this would probably be good.
Yeah, and we do have a notification if you change your PIN to say to stop it, but we could pop up a message at the beginning that says, hey, somebody linked to your account. So.
And also like maybe a way to keep someone linking from your account would be nice. I don't know. We don't have link accounts, so I know nothing about them. I just know that at one of my other libraries, the problem was that the husband, they were in a divorce, well, some type of situation, and he linked into her account to find out what her history was, and she was getting like divorce stuff, and so it was a big old to do. Luckily, I wasn't there. I just found out about it after I got there, and I was just happy I wasn't there that day.
Does anybody use Patron Point for address verification? We just implemented that at our library, and that would allow with online creation of an account, it automatically does the address verification for you. And I don't know if it does that for updating information as well. Just a thought.
I didn't realize they did address verification too. So
it's a new service that they just started cool. Within the last like 5 months, I think.
Yeah. Do you know how they do it?
Very carefully. I know I don't.
maybe not so. I mean, what I meant is, do they verify that someone with that name lives at that address, or just that
yes.
that address exists?
Yes. No, they verify that. Lives at, I believe
so they must use the
with
postal
the
service or something.
Yeah,
Vinny,
Vinny, I need you to check out an address.
Yeah, I believe they're also able to verify like you live in the library district as Correct. Well, which gets really complicated.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's my life.
Lane has had to come up with an entirely new phrase to define or to use instead of district or the service area.
Well, we didn't get through all of our topics, but I think we had some really great conversation. Thank y'all for the show and tell. We've only got a couple more minutes, so I don't think it's a good idea to move on to the next topic. We can move the next 3 agenda items to next month's meeting. It's going to be at the same time. So it's going to be conversation about shared repository for enhancement requests. What y'all think about that? If we should separate grouped works based on the 245 subfield P. And then we're going to talk a little bit about our Aspen Weekly that has been going out to see what y'all think about it, what you want to see in that, what kind of content you want from us through that. Do y'all want to just keep doing the hour meetings? Do you want to move it to an hour and a half so we have more time to chat? Up to y'all.
I'd say keep it at an hour and reduce the introduction time.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, I agree. After a while, I think there'll be kind of the usual suspects.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
And then keep the agenda focused so we can hit all the items on it.
Okay. Perfect, y'all. Well, we will update the blog post with the recording if you want to reference it. I'll clean up the agenda notes because I was furiously typing. And then we'll send out information about next month. So hope everyone has a nice holiday season. Stay warm in your respective places. Does anyone else have anything to add before we leave?
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye,
y'all.
everyone.
Happy everyone.
Holidays.
Have a good weekend.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Bye.
Great meeting you all.
Happy holidays.
Great holiday.